evening, everybody. I'm Reshma Jain, and I'm a journalist based in Visakhapatnam. So, directly coming to the point, so the problem statement here is there is a pressing need for a platform which covers and amplifies the voice of the voiceless. So, by this I mean that when I was working with the mainstream media, the human interest stories or stories of the marginalized communities was something where the media was not giving a space. So that is when I realized after 6 years of experience that there needs to be a platform which voices the voiceless, which brings the marginalized communities to the fore, which also brings human interest stories and the hidden stories not only in India but across the world. So that comes to the problem statement where we have a platform which amplifies the voices of marginalized communities and individuals, addressing the lack of representation and empathy in mainstream media. So this makes me come to this point that the findings of underrepresentation across multiple studies emphasize the need for increased diversity and inclusion in mainstream media. So I'm sure here most of you would be consuming a lot of digital media and less of the print media. So even in the digital medium, we have a lot of underrepresented communities. By here, which I mean that we have communities like the LGBT. We have communities where the voices are still suppressed because there is lack of empathy, there is lack of space, and multiple. And one major factor here is lack of financial in India that do constructive journalism. So here by constructive journalism, I mean to say stories which bring about an impact. So when I was working with the mainstream media, there were a couple of stories that I wrote and where people read about it and there was significant impact which was made. This is what made me come up with my own platform where I would bring stories across India, write about them, and probably connect them to people who are interested to help them. So it's just been 4 to 5 months that I've launched something called Eureka, Pearls of Inspiration, and the website is live. We've covered almost 30 stories till now, and all these stories are inspiring. There are also hidden gems, which by which I mean that there are people who are doing really good work, but the mainstream media doesn't capture it, and we are here to do that. So, what does Eureka do? We shine a light on the voices and experiences of people and communities whose stories have been marginalized, just like the way I mentioned it. We also foster inspiring conversations that can bring about positive change in the world. So, on Eureka, we've done a couple of interviews. Like I've interviewed Mithali Raj, PV Sindhu, and also people from Bollywood and Tollywood. And this is because we want to spread some pearls of inspiration, that is, you never know which point would actually strike a balance for yourself. So when we had interviewed Mithali Raj and PV Sindhu, the points that we brought to the fore was how sports can actually play an important role in our healthy lives, and also um, on how rural girls, especially girls in the rural India, can find a career in sports. So these are the kind of insights we actually bring out. We have also done interviews with world number one badminton players. We have also done with some corporate people who also give us a lot of insights if entrepreneurs also want to expand their business. So the topics covered by Eureka are varied. We have from inspiring tales to motivational series and also from the corporate sector. And the third part is we are also into organizing events that bring marginalized people together to amplify their voices. So by this I mean that not only do we bring stories to the fore, but after bringing the stories, we try organizing one or two events and we raise funds and then use that amount to cater to the needs of these underprivileged or the marginalized communities. We have just done one event 3 months ago and we had helped 10 underprivileged girls and women from Vishakhapatnam, and this was through an fundraiser musical concert that we had organized. So this is how the platform looks like. So this is a world in which every person's story is heard and valued, and in which inspiring conversations can unite people. Yeah, so the white space here is that the same point that I mentioned, because communities like the LGBT communities, the wheelchair, and also the people from say handicap, the people who are handicapped. So all these, there are handicapped people who are very talented, who are national dancers, who are international dancers, but still the stories don't come to the fore. So that is where we are trying to give them a platform. So the vision is to capture the excitement and energy of a moment of realization or breakthrough through stories, conversations, and events. So basically, Eureka means, in Greek, it means I found it. So that is the reason the uh, name here, Eureka, is about finding stories and inspiring tales. So coming to the total addressable market, just 2 days ago, there was this report from the Reuters Institute which said that there is a sharp decrease in access to online news. And globally, platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Instagram are gaining ground as sources of information among the youth. I'm sure all of you would agree with me. And our consumption, the content consumption comes mostly from YouTube, and the other mediums like the video and audio based mediums, like now with podcasts are trending. So I think gone are the days where we would actually flip through the pages of a newspaper and read reports. So it's mostly the video and the audio content. And as we all know, COVID-19 has made us more hooked to the digital medium. And here there's a short presentation about what are the various sectors. So here the problem is, the unprecedented state of media, and we are here to fix it through the digital media service. We have an addressable market. We also have value addition in the form of impactful services, and then we have a competent team that executes and delivers. Well, just brushing through the KPIs. The first is the reach and audience size. That is, we measure the platform's audience size, including now since the website is live, we've also got a couple of good subscribers, and also the potential number of individuals who are actually interested to learn more about the unheard stories. And then we also have the content engagement. We have media coverage and recognition. Yes, and collaborations and partnerships is again a point where we are focusing on, because this is somewhere which adds a lot of credibility to the platform. We have collaborated with a couple of NGOs, with a couple of organizations, and also corporates to execute these kind of events where the underprivileged communities get a lot of help. And of course, the last one is the story impact. Now, how do we measure the story impact? Is one small example where we had covered a story of a blind couple, and the story was published on our website. There was one of a reader who had connected to me, and just keeping the story very short. So the way it was presented is something that he liked, and he got in touch. And he has two. I mean, the couple has two daughters. So one of the daughter was adopted by that person. So this is the kind of impact that we wish to create through this platform. These are just a couple of associations we have done for our projects. This makes me come to the end of my presentation.
Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. We can now open the floor for questions for 5 minutes.
So, is it a NGO or a social institution or a revenue model or is it for you? how will you sustain? Because I don't see money coming in. And
Part where we would be getting some revenue. And the second part would be we have plans of coming up with an e-magazine. So where we will be also covering the CSR funding, where people from the corporates, the CSR projects, and we will also be coming up with a magazine called The Voice, The Voiceless.
largely donations and sponsorships.
Yes.
That's how you want to sustain. You should look in where the valuations now clearly are you how your story shutters or not. Probably know what
Yes.
so something like but purely in this only because the sustenance of this of course would on happen because donors and sponsors have become very demanding like fact outcomes. They
Yes.
just don't give you that. That becomes very well convincing them. And that's there's a crunch. There's just like on the website at the bottom, you would see that there is a cry or some other NGOs giving stories of people in a bad state, like Sana or people with cancer, somebody with cancer last day. So many out of that, then trying to get the space and talk might be difficult for you to sustain.
True.
Maybe have something which is a regular revenue generating model, feeding it to sustain. I just everybody. Please.
Thank you for that. We can take one more question.
Catch up with you later. I missed the first few slides.
But basically, picking up stories from marginalized stuff. It's just that
So-
only
The question I had as you're ending your presentation was, what was your sources of information? How do you capture these stories?
Well, since I was with the mainstream media for a couple of years, that's how I've developed my network. And that is how I keep connecting to people. And now people also approach, stating or they connect. By reading through multiple sources, also we get connected to people. And social media is one great platform where we read and connect with people. So LGBT was one such community which I just started with one, and then I got connected with a lot of activists across the world. So when they knew we were doing something like that, this automatically happened.
That is,
you should stay back. You know the beat there done that.
Yes, I've heard about it.
So probably today's event, just stay back and see how it happens.
Sure,
Then probably host a show
sure.
that the reach is larger. Again, it continues from 6 to 8, same day. So after that, 30 minutes break, then we start. You have time, I think, should. So he handles that show. Same stuff, but different viewers group or different, say, audience as well as the target group.
that's
Very similar format.
Anyone else? Thank you so much.